Hi, my name's Tiffany. Welcome to the Minnesota Garden Mom. And today we're going to be talking about how do I know when I need to water my plants? And that's actually a pretty complicated question because it all depends. So when you have your seeds starting, you're going to have to really keep an eye on them. You're going to want to make sure that your soil is moist but not sopping wet, so that way your seeds can actually germinate. The water is going to soften up those shells and then give that plant a little bit of help to break it open, and that can actually go through. We've got some wasps over here, which a little bit concerning, but at the same time, they are good pollinators, some of the first pollinators. I just happen to be allergic to them. Once you actually have your plant and it's germinated and now you have a little bit of a sprout, you still need to keep an eye on it. If they're going to be outdoors like this, the wind's going to be going over them a lot more, meaning that they're going to dry out, especially if they're in the container. You might have to just give them a water every single day. Now, it is good for things to dry out all the way before you water it, but you don't want it to dry out to the point of it's already wilting. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't water it at that point, but give it a little bit of water and then a little bit more. You don't want to overwater it right away. That'll drown it. It's going to try and pull it all in right away, and that's not good for it. So here I have some onions, for example. These are pretty small cells. This is a 128 seed cell. And the cells, even though they're about 2.5 inches deep, they're only about 1 inch across, 1 inch by 1 inch by 2.5 inches to 3 inches. And so they dry out pretty fast, especially with having more than one in here for one onion in each cell. And I have to water this now almost every day because it's already outside. It's getting some good sunlight. It's getting the wind. They're getting stronger. I've already planted a ton of onions, and I have some people that I've reached out to ask if they would like some free onion starts. Now, if you have something like this, here we have a marigold, and it's in a bigger pot. This bigger pot isn't going to dry out as fast, but when it does need to be watered, it's going to be light. It's going to be nice and light brown. Right now it is dark brown. And when your plants get bigger, they don't have to be watered as frequently, depending on the weather. But when they do get watered, they need to be watered more and more heavily than they would if you have a small seedling. So my onions down here, each individual cell technically doesn't need as much water, but now I have more soil. More soil means more water. Let's see, I have these ones here. I have some really large pots. This one's a 5-inch pot, and I have a bunch of lemongrass growing in here. And this one does not need to be watered as often too, because it has so much soil, it can hold on to more water. But when I do have to water it, I have to water even more water for this one than I do for the marigold pot. Do you see that stepping process? More soil means more water, but less often. Then we have things that take quite a bit of water, and that's going to be something like this 72 cell spinach. And it's in here right now because I haven't got it out into my green stock yet. And I have some spinach growing in the garden already, some stuff in pots, and then I'm going to add this to the green stock because even though I plant a ton of spinach, the rabbits also really like it, and along with the other things. So I get some, nature gets some, and I call it even. This is a very fast growing crop. Spinach takes about 60 to 65 days if you're planning on starting that harvesting then. If you would like smaller greens, you can start harvesting around that 40-day mark, depending on how big you want your spinach leaves to be. And because you have a rapidly growing plant, something that's going to grow really fast, you're going to have to water it more often because it's going to pull up more often. And because these seed cells are also still pretty tiny, we're looking at about 2 inches by 2 inches. And these ones are only like 2 inches deep max. and they need to get taken out of these here soon so that they can thrive and grow faster. The last thing is, if you do continuously overwater your plants, when you take your plant out of its pot to uppot it, to put it in a bigger pot, you're going to get something with some black roots. When you take it out, this one's roots probably won't be too big. Let's get a better example. This one has some white roots, which is what you want to see. I think I'm going to have a tough time trying to find you an example. Not to toot my own horn, but after lots of years of gardening and lots of years of starting my own stuff inside, I've finally gotten that down to not overwater my plants. So I hope that answers all your questions. If you liked this video, hit that like button. If you'd like to see more Garden Mom content, go over to my channel, hit that subscribe button, and I hope you guys have a blessed day.